listen that we had last week, except it's him reading it. So this is a book by the same author from last month.
One day I had an idea. Where did it come from? Why is it here, I wondered. What do you do with an idea? At first, I didn't think much of it. It seemed kind of strange and fragile. I didn't know what to do with it, so I just walked away from it. I acted like it didn't belong to me. But it followed me. I worried what others would think. What would people say about my idea? I kept it to myself. I hid it away and didn't talk about it. I tried to act like everything was the same as it was before my idea showed up. But there was something magical about my idea. I had to admit, I felt better and happier when it was around. It wanted food, it wanted to play. Actually, it wanted a lot of attention. It grew bigger, and we became friends. I showed it to other people, even though I was afraid of what they would say. I was afraid that if people saw it, they would laugh at it. I was afraid they would think it was silly. And many of them did. They said it was no good. They said it was too weird. They said it was a waste of time and that it would never become anything. And at first, I believed them. I actually thought about giving up on my idea. I almost listened to them. But then I realized, what do they really know? This is my idea. No one knows it like I do. And it's okay if it's different and weird and maybe a little crazy. I decided to protect it, to care for it. I fed it good food. I worked with it. I played with it. But most of all, I gave it my attention. My idea grew and grew. And so did my love for it. I built it a new house, one with an open roof, where it could look up at the stars, a place where it could be safe to dream. I liked being with my idea. It made me feel more alive, like I could do anything. It encouraged me to think big and then to think bigger. It shared its secrets with me. It showed me how to walk on my hands because it said, it's good to have the ability to see things differently. I couldn't imagine my life without it. Then, one day, something amazing happened. My idea changed right before my very eyes. It spread its wings, took flight, and burst into the sky. I don't know how to describe it, but it went from being here to being everywhere. It wasn't just part of me anymore. Now it was a part of everything. And then I realized what you do with an idea. You change the world.
All right. So that was Kobe reading What Do You Do with an Idea, which I thought would be a good one. Kendra and I thought would be a good one going into the new year because people tend to dream about their next several months up to the next 12 months of what they're going to do. And we don't want you to think that any idea you have is stupid or dumb or whatever, because it's not. And yeah, we just like that one. So, and that leads me into my dear friend Anna. And I love her and she's amazing. I'm gonna spotlight her so you guys
Oh
see
God.
her face. Oh yeah, her
Yeah,
beautiful face. And
I
she's
am
going
not I'm not the kind that does a lot of preparation or song and dance. I'm
That's
more
all
of a
right. They're used to me and I don't either. So, but she's been around a long time. We've been through all the things. And she's going to share with you guys some good tips about, well, good tips, good motivation for working through the end of the year into the new year, because sometimes it just feels awkward and like a weird mental space, and she's a good motivator. So I'm going to hand it over to you. Go, Anna, go.
I warned her in giving me this topic because I'm kind of a funny person with the way that I run my end of the year. However, we're still gonna work. So anyways, like Dawn said, my name's Anna. I've been with Scentsy for 11 years this coming February. I'm a superstar director on the coast of Washington State. So rainy and miserable here right now. I was a registered nurse for about 15 years when Scentsy just kind of took off, and now it's my full-time job. So I joined just to make some extra money for Christmas in February, thinking if I could just make $600 by the end of the year, that would be great. It definitely did better than that right from the get-go, but I will say I'm not somebody who earned shooting star or was not an overnight success. I actually didn't even have my first team member for 2 years. So I was a certified consultant for 2 years before I really started to get the hang of things, and the not really necessarily the hang of things, but the drive to do the things was really the biggest part of it. So once I did get that one first person, it gave me a little bit of confidence to actually ask other people. And I earned my first incentive in 19 days, which was a cruise to Cozumel. And then it was the Disney trip in 2015 that we were earning. I earned that in 6 weeks, and I was a top earner that year. I went to Africa. I've been to the Mediterranean, Spain, France, Italy, every incentive since then. I've been able to go on all of these trips, which has really fueled me and pushed me forward, because world travel is not something that would have ever been really on my plate. I was a daughter of a garbage man and hairstylist, and our family just that's not something that we would have done. So it's been really amazing. When I told my job I was going to quit, they told me that that's not something that's going to sustain a family, and kind of laughed at me and made me feel a little bit silly, but I believed myself and I went on my way. And now I, as a single mom, Scentsy is my sole income. Scentsy is what provides for us and our life, and I wouldn't have it any other way, because the freedom that comes with it is everything. But with that comes a huge responsibility, right? Because if there's no boss, there's no person holding your feet to your fire when you don't do anything. And so this time of year tends to be a really tricky time of year to hold yourself accountable to doing the work. So I just finished up a big fundraiser that I do annually for our local nursing student program, which was the same program that I graduated from. And there's this like innate finish the fundraiser, do my last big event of the season, and then want to just be like, oh, finally, it's the shipping cut off. I can take a breath. I can chill. I can kind of regroup. But This is where the difference between somebody who's incredibly successful with this business is separated from people who just do this business casually. And it's based in momentum. Okay. Dawn, you're so cute. Momentum is everything. So I don't know how long you guys have been in this business, but one of the analogies that I loved that Orville gave in a keynote speech was about a merry-go-round. And when the merry-go-round is going and the momentum is there and the kids are on the merry-go-round and it's going fast, you can just stand back and just kind of do this and it keeps going, right? But if you stand back, you drop your hands and you let it go, it'll spin for a minute, right? That's what happens when we step away after the shipping cutoff. It'll continue to spin for a minute and it'll start to slow down. And then January comes and it's slowing down even more. And then you go, why is January so slow? Well, January is so slow because you stood back and you didn't keep the merry-go-round going. So it will go for a little while, but then when you have to jump back in and get it going again, it's grueling, right? Like you have to push so hard. All these kids, you're like, God, kids, get off of here. I got other things to do. And I kind of felt that way as an early leader. Like I can't run my business and help all of these other people that are in my downline. Like that's what happens. If you lose that momentum, it's hard to support a team and support a business and support your own personal growth. But momentum is everything. That's why they say consistency is so much more important than those massive bursts of energy and effort, right? Like innately as a person, like I love to work like a lion does a feast, right? Like I love to like run and chase the gazelle and get my catch and eat it and then just lay around and sleep. Love that. But that's not what makes people successful. And that's what brings your customers to go, hey, are you still doing Scentsy? Like, yeah, I'm still doing Scentsy. That's how I keep my lights on. If they're asking me if I'm still doing Scentsy, we got a problem. So it's the same thing for you guys. And if you want that to be the reality of your Scentsy business, it's the consistency, and it doesn't have to be big, crazy things all the time, right? So what am I doing this time of year? For me, a big thing is because I've been doing this for pushing 11 years, I've got some inventory, and following my big fundraiser, I use my rewards for extra inventory I can keep on hand for the event that I do after my fundraiser. Now, if I don't sell all of that stuff, I got stuff sitting around, and I don't want it sitting around because we don't like to keep inventory. So I use a program called Who, and I don't know if you guys have used that, but it's absolutely amazing. I was able to come home from my event last week and send out a list of everything that I have to my customers via email or text, my existing customers, and let them know, hey, if you didn't come out because the rain was too bad, because it was really bad, here's a list of everything that I have. If you need something, you can porch pick up this week, or I can ship this week. So they're able to go to that link and see everything I have and claim. I get an email, I have a total, I can get everything ready for them. That's especially effective after that shipping cutoff, because people are like, well, I can't order anything. What can I get? Or, oh my gosh, I need a gift in a pinch. Like I need something right now. I'm going to go to a dinner and I don't want to show up empty-handed for the hostess, or work is doing a white elephant party and I need something right now. I'm able to pull some things together for that and work with them on that. Now, Who is a paid program to a certain extent. They do have a free version, but if you're really using it, the paid version is totally worth it. I think I pay like $8 a month and it totally pays for itself. And I love that. It helps me manage a lot of the inventory that has inevitably accrued after a while. You know, you place so many parties, after a while, things just kind of start to pile up. So mystery bags, quick and easy gifts. If you're doing the gifts for people, they're buying. Yep, you're right, Dawn. They're buying after the cutoff for sure. You've got to make it attractive for them though. And this is something that doesn't come easy for me. I'm very much a numbers person. And so I get so focused on value, right? Like, I could put a bundle together and I can say, well, this bundle is worth $37, but I'm going to sell it to you for $25. That's attractive to some people, but so many people are attracted not to that number, but what it looks like aesthetically. So, something you can do that's very simple is go to the Dollar Tree and buy a cute little bin, put your stuff in there with some shred, put a little basket bag around it, tie a little ornament to the top. That's cute as heck, right? You do have to remember that when you sell things ready to go, cash and carry, this is what I have inventory. That has to be done privately, has to be done one-to-one, has to be done via email, text, personal message. You can use Facebook Messenger. You can't be posting those on a public platform. And public can also mean a private Facebook group, which I know that sounds so crazy, but it's true. So when you're doing these things, these personal specials, these bundles, these items on hand, make sure that you're doing them privately. So last minute gifts, Yumihu. You can also do gift certificates because people may not necessarily need to buy right now, but they know that their mother-in-law loves Scentsy. You can make your own gift certificates. Just make sure that you put on there that they're for redemption by you, so that, well, not that they couldn't buy it on your website, but I know personally, I want them to come back and shop with me. So there's that. On top of that, so the momentum in your business, just by showing up and continuing to turn the open sign, is also in preparation for the next month. So I know you guys have probably already talked about Bring Back My Bar, the Valentine's collection, all of those things that are coming that are offered to us as an early access thing. If you don't take advantage of that and you can't market it the same way, it's hard to be as successful as somebody who does. I will say, Bring Back My Bar bundles are really expensive. So find a friend or two or three or four and split them up. One person buys it. If you split it 4 ways, everybody gets 2 cubes. You can make a lot of felt samples that way. But the smelling does the selling, right? We always say that. It's true. So get the smells under people's noses and buy those Bring Back My Bar bundles now. It's also going to help you with your PRV this month because we do get paid commission on something that's considered business materials. Because if you're buying those bars, that's a business cost. So you'll write that off on your taxes, but you'll get commission on it too. So it's a pretty sweet deal if you ask me. So for me, I'm going to be getting my Bring Back My Bar samples prepped, mailing them, getting them out to people. So that way I can be successful in January. So not only am I working with what I can sell now out of my own inventory, what I can really do a service for with people with gifts, but also in preparation moving forward in January. That's all easy stuff you guys all know. But I want to throw out there that life doesn't stop and people don't stop buying Scentsy. They don't. Just because it's Christmas, it doesn't mean people aren't buying Scentsy. Christmas aside, Christmas cannot be your excuse as to why you're not being successful with Scentsy. All right? There's no Christmas in July. There's no Christmas in April. There's no Christmas in March. You can't use Christmas as a reason to not be successful. You can't use Christmas as a reason to be successful. Like all of these things are independent of what you can do with your business. And the only thing that's really getting in the way of you having high PRV or meeting all the people and making all the contacts and building all the relationships and doing all the prep work, the only thing that gets in the way is you. Because I promise your neighbor is still going to work tomorrow. So you can too, right? All of these things can continue no matter what, depending on whether or not you want to be successful with it. And I know it sounds like, God, like I feel like I'm a nag and saying that you shouldn't stop. You should continue to work. Like I'm not saying you can't enjoy the season, but Scentsy can come along with you. You're going to holiday events, take the Scentsy with you. You know, my son is great about doing the rub and smell stickers with me. I'm sure you have nieces and nephews who love to do rub and smell stickers with you. I'm sure you have an aunt who would not mind at all making felt samples of all 25 cents of Bring Back My Bar with you. Like, they like to do these sorts of things. It's just whether or not you allow it to get in your way. Right. So, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I wanted to say about all of that. But oh, there's this. In addition to making money and meeting all the people and preparing for a successful month, you have to remember that part of being successful is taking care of you and preparing where you want to go. And a lot of people like to wait until the new year before they have these big hopes and dreams of what 2024 is going to look like. And don't wait. Don't wait. Get yourself a calendar, get yourself a planner, put your systems in place in order for you to be successful moving forward. If there's downtime with your sales, use the time that you have to rewrite your list of 100. I know that sounds so cliche. We're like, oh my God, the list of 100. We're really talking about that still? Yes, we're really talking about that still. We're really still talking about the people that we know, because sometimes we forget about who it is that we actually know and who's in our funnel and who's in our system. So basic stuff matters, right? So use that downtime to reevaluate where you are and where you want to go, and reorganize what is and isn't working in your business. Throw out the things that aren't working. Think about how you could do things differently. One of the things that I love about, like, I like to organize, right? Systems. A system is only good if you're doing the system, right? Like, it's really easy to clean up if it has a place, you go put it in its place. Your shoes go in a basket by the door, you go put the shoes in the basket by the door. Your clothes go in a hamper. The problem with cleaning up and organizing is when you get to the point where you're like, what do I do with all these random things? It's like that in your business too. If you don't have a system that's working for you, that's when you get stuck. That's when you get frustrated. That's when you get kind of hanky about your situation. So reflect on what's working and what isn't working, where you're struggling, because those are things that you could be doing as well. So I don't know. What else, Dawn?
I thought that was all good. I was note taking for you.
I know, automatically assume people know what I'm talking about, but
no, it's
you're
fine.
good.
List of 100 is one I feel like people don't mention very often anymore. And like, we have like, I think other ways that people even talk about it. So like Judy was like, list of 100. If you YouTube list of 100, there's people from all sorts of companies that talk about the way they do it. But it's basically, and if you go to the workstation and search list of 100, there's even like a worksheet there that gives you like categories. Like, it's like friends, family, coworkers. Like, it like gives you like kind of category ideas. But the whole point is not necessarily to get to 100 people, but get to a good list of people. It's a lot easier when you sit and focus on it. Like, people go, I don't know anybody. Yeah, you do. And the people you know people. So like, the list of 100 isn't necessarily even somebody you like are close to, but like, oh, I know I have this aunt who I'm close to, and she has her best friends. So they could go on there, because if you ask your aunt to get together with her best friends, right, that's people within your circle of influence. That's circle of influence, sphere of influence. A lot of people call it that. So that's what list of 100 is. But it kind of, it's like a brainstorm of people that you are connected to in some way that you could share.
It's reconsidering your connections. That's what it is.
And the other thing like you said, because Kendra and I were talking about it today too, was about like, it's okay to like focus a little on yourself, do a little self-care, think about 2024, think ahead, plan ahead. But that doesn't mean we stop working, right? I love that. I always forget about Orville giving the merry-go-round idea, and like that's like the most easy visual for not stopping. Like
It's so perfect. It's
you
so
have to do
true.
something. You have to do something. Otherwise the momentum stops. And one of the things that I like to do, because people are still buying, people are still thinking about Scentsy, they still want to scent their house up. Like things may slow down at like in that transition, but if you're still showing up, your people do too. But one of the things that I like to do to show up for them is to like reach out to everybody who's ordered in 2023 and just like thank them for supporting your business. And it can be
Yeah.
as simple as a text message, but it's another like connection point with people and an acknowledgement of how they've supported you in that year. And like, I hope you continue to support me into the next year. But like that acknowledgement that like, hey, I know even if they placed an order back in February and never did again, like that acknowledgement that they showed up at some point for your business is a really big deal to people in our like small little circle. They can go, I think I always say when I when I talk to people, it's like they can go to 150,000 other Scentsy consultants. So like give them a reason to stay with you. Give them a reason to remember that you are the one they want to come to. Make sure you're always staying in their brain.
Yeah. Oh my God. I was going to show you this. Thinking of staying in their brain and giving you a reason to buy. Like I'm a dork. Like, and the more that I own the goofiness, the better I do. And so, with Yumi, that's something that I usually send out on like a little flyer that they can scan the QR code just to remind them, like, hey, you can pick up from my porch. Well, my holiday flyer, like, let me see if I can make
Have
this.
to zoom in.
Maybe not. Uh,
Oh,
and so like the dorkier that I get, the more that they like you're relatable and you're likable and you don't take yourself too seriously. And they're like, you know what? Like what a goober, but that's okay. So like you
but
said,
they choose you for a reason.
yeah, yeah,
And I think like they're like one of our core values is authenticity. And
yep,
like I'm big on saying you're you're the only you that exists. That's your superpower. Mel Robbins says it, and like ever since I heard her say it, like I repeat that often. Like you're the only you. That's your superpower. So like why would you try to be anybody else?
yep. The Dr. Seuss, you're the youiest you. I love that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Does anybody have any questions for Anna? Otherwise, we'll have a nice little short night tonight during the holiday season.
Nothing?
100 questions.
Nothing?
Nothing.
That's good. Usually
That's
somebody's
pretty
like,
good.
how did you just I get a lot
That's
of the how
probably
did
I
you
like
go
take
from
notes while the person's talking and I like put them in the chat so then people
Yeah,
can
I usually get the you were certified for 2 years and now you're an SSD, like what happened there? That's a pretty common
Oh,
one. I have a whole video for that. So,
she does. Anna has I should have put your YouTube up here too.
oh God, there's not a whole lot on there. There's
But the
there's
stuff that is
that
up there is really good.
what? Which one?
Your
The one where I say your excuses suck and
a
I
bunch
really
of
mean
your stuff.
oh, that's the mean one. I was really crabby that day. Really crabby.
Share vid. What do you mean, Judy? What do you mean by share vid? Share this vid? This vid will get shared.
The one about how you went from certified to SSD, because I'm just finishing year 1 as a certified, nobody below me, and trying to convince that first person sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. You don't have to convince anybody.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing for me was recognizing that I didn't have to convince anybody that what I had was good. And it was God, I really want to give credit where it's due, but I really can't remember who it was. Somebody said that you are not out hunting. You're not hunting, you're not head hunting with a spear, like you're to get the people, right? Like my mindset was that way. But your mindset is that you're feeding the birds. You're with an outstretched hand, handful of seed. What you have is what they want. And it's more of showing the people that what you have is what they want rather than convincing them of it. It's such a fine line, right? Convincing someone or showing them. Because I'm a really convincing person. I can be like I can totally sway people, but go out there and love what you do and give good customer service and show people how Scentsy has blessed your life and what it has done for your family on a small, sustainable scale. I think that the more that I remember that, even personally now, the more successful that I am, because it's very easy for me to go out and say, well, I'm paying my bills with Scentsy, and like I've traveled the world with Scentsy, and I quit my full-time job with Scentsy, and people are like, yeah, but that will never happen for me, so I'm not interested. But you go back and say, well, I wanted to save $600 for Christmas and I was able to do that. Or, it's the things that are sustainable that people can relate to and say, yeah, I'd actually kind of really like that. Or what would you do with $200 a month kind of thing? Like, is an extra $200 a month for people can be life-changing. And so you really have to dial it back to where they are. And that's like the biggest thing, not where you have to recruit from where they are, not from where you are. And the more I just showed people that they could do it, and I think a lot of that was bag parties, like you already did the work, like your coworkers are already going to buy, so you might as well. The more that they were able to see, like, oh yeah, I already did do that. Yeah, they already are going to buy. Like, just show them. Does that make sense? Like, that seems a little vague, but really that's what it is. It's a complete mindset shift. Yeah. Plus, I was in my own way as far as like thinking they're already going to tell me no, or I feel like I'm a bother, or like all of those things that we do, right? I'm going to annoy them, the more that I was able to move away from the I'm bothering them or I'm going to annoy them, and really believe that what I have is what people want, the easier those things became.
Your confidence is contagious.
Yeah.
Showing up, like
your excitement is contagious
and
too.
I think of like just like really simple, like real life situations, like Target emails me every day. I don't care. Liquid IV sends me a text message every day. I don't care. Like there are so many such I go out to eat and every time you get asked if you want dessert and 90% of the time you say no. It's the same in this business, but your server's not getting upset that you said no to dessert. Like it's okay that people are going to say no. And for some reason a lot of people decide to take it personally.
Yep.
But it's just not that big of a deal.
Yes. So Katie Farner, I literally worshiped the ground that she walked on when I was a new consultant, because I just, for whatever reason, really related to her. And I didn't have a lot of guidance coming up. I've rolled up 6 times. So I've had 6 different sponsors within this business. But she had an analogy of how you offer someone a piece of gum. And if you offer somebody a piece of gum and they're like, no, thanks. You're not like, oh my God, what's wrong with my gum? Why don't they want my gum? Do they not like me? Like you don't think like that. Like you're just offering somebody a piece of gum. Maybe they don't want gum right now. Like maybe they just brushed their teeth and maybe they are about to eat something. I don't know. Like there's always so many different reasons why somebody says no to something, but it doesn't always have to be a you thing, right? Or it's not about necessarily the opportunity that you're offering. What you have is good. So remember that. And people buy from you because they like you and they know you and they trust you. And if they don't, then we have a problem. That's a whole nother video.
People say no because it's a them thing. You say no to dessert because you're full. You say no to whatever because of something that's going on in your life. People aren't saying no to you because of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's
but our own insecurities get in the way of that. And I know that was part of what really was a roadblock for me for a long time. So yeah.
Good questions, Judy.
Super good.
Anybody else? Kendra, do you had anything to add? Look at Kendra sitting over there, just baking a baby.
Just over here yawn. I'm trying to like hide my yawning because I feel like
You're fine. You're
I
fine.
didn't even notice you yawn a single time.
Oh, good. This is my bedtime every night, 7 o'clock.
Oh.
No, but I actually, when you said about earning your incentive trips at the beginning, like I feel like you have to touch on that. Did you say 6 weeks for Disney?
Yeah, 6 weeks for Disney. 19 days for a cruise to Cozumel. 6 weeks for my first spot of 3 to Disney, because I was actually a top earner that year, and I promoted to director in that season, the whole bit. And part of that, and I don't know if your team will watch this back or not, but I know that a huge piece of that was I was a lead consultant when I registered for my first SFR. So after I got my first few recruits, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to go to Cincy Family Reunion. I'm going to go see what this is all about. And so I registered and I just kept doing my thing. The summer incentive started. I earned the cruise to Cozumel because these people who had joined me, I was set up because all of these people who had joined me coming in to that incentive period counted. As soon as they certified, they counted for so many points for me to earn this trip. So I had all these sponsoring points, which was insane for people who had joined me the previous month. So that was totally rad. But then I went to Cincy Family Reunion and I promoted the very next month to director, because there's such a vibe. There's such magic. There's such, like, it's really even hard to describe to people who haven't been there. Like, once you've done it, you get it, like there's not really words to put to it other than that there's something that happens at Cincy Family Reunion. Not necessarily just to your, yeah, it's great for your business, but there's something that happens in you and the buy-in that you give the company. And then as a result, the belief that you give yourself. And when you have that, you tend to do the things that you need in order to reach the goals that you have. So if you haven't been to Cincy Family Reunion, you need to go. If you haven't been to World Tour, you need to register because it's like a mini SFR. But I'm a huge believer in leaders are born at events and that you have to show up to go up. And I mean, you know that you're already here tonight. So yeah.
I think SFR like put a realistic face on everything for me. Like that's how I was like, all of it was kind of like Cincy, like, and you didn't really, so it put like reality to it, and it put like, oh yeah, like that person's just a normal human being walking across the stage in their jeans and t-shirt. Like, these people are just other humans and they're making it work, so I can too. Like it put like brought it back to reality versus being like, oh, this is the thing.
Yeah.
This is the thing nobody actually achieves.
I was somebody who would throw away any charms or anything that I earned for the monthly sales award or something like that. I would literally throw that stuff away because I was like, this isn't for me. This isn't for people like me. This is for people who like really take this thing seriously. This is for people who like are at the top of the chain and like all I would just had not bought in on the fact that I could be that person too. Like I could earn those things. I could quit my job. I could do that full time. I could travel the world. I didn't really believe like that those things were for me. Like I didn't think that trips were for people like me. So I just wrote them off completely. And when they brought Mickey Mouse out on stage at SFR in Las Vegas in 2015, I was sobbing like a baby. And I was like, I'm going to earn that and I'm going to go. And there's not a thing I haven't earned since then. So it's pretty sweet. Like once you travel with Cincy, it makes it very hard to travel without Scentsy. I'm like, somebody's not gonna just pick me up. Like, I have to arrange that. Like, who's gonna cover my food? Where, what? Like, I have to do that. I have to do no one's gonna leave me a gift on my bed at the end of the night. That's dumb. Like, I've been ruined because of Scentsy. It's so magical. Like, you could go to Disney. Sure, you could go to Hawaii. Sure, you could do all of the things that Scentsy does, but you're not going to do it in the way that Scentsy does it. Period. It's just not the same. And once you've earned one, you're like, man, I don't want to miss out on the next one because I don't know what they're going to do, but it's going to be amazing. So,
Yes. And I would say that about SFR as well. I think
for sure,
this year's SFR is going to be batshit.
it's going to be so good. In fact, I've earned Hawaii and I've already decided, like, I have to take SFR as my incentive because I don't know what they're going to do, but it's going to be so cool that I'm like,
it's going to be outrageous. We don't know. I'm just telling you because it's the 20th, because Michael and Heidi are going to be back, because of so many reasons. It's going to be outrageous.
I mean, listen, when we did Disney World and they like opened the park just for Scentsy, you don't get to do that. Like, that's so,
as someone who's a former cast member, I'm going to tell you how rare that is.
Yeah, like, I want to do it. Like, that's so cool. So I think that, and that might be a huge piece of why the momentum is not such a problem for me, because I know what's at stake. I know what I want. I want to be on those trips. I want to go to SFR. I want to be successful. I want to keep my lights on. But really,
strong reasons.
I mean, you gotta have the why and the what for. And yeah, I was making great money as a registered nurse, but I was also working 60 hours a week and somebody else was raising my child. And when my daycare provider sent me a video of him learning to walk while I was in the operating room, it broke me. I was like, I'm doing this. I'm quitting. I'm doing this. And I remember it was the St. Patrick's Day of 2016. And I went in and I said I quit because they said I couldn't go to SFR in Nashville. That's how much SFR like meant to me. I was like, I fine, I'll quit my career because I'm gonna go to Scentsy convention in Nashville. And they literally thought I had lost my ever-loving mind. But guess what? They're still working 60 hours a week, and I get to work from home and do all the things and do all the field trips and own my life, and it's amazing. And I can't say enough amazing things about what this company means to me. And I know the income disclosure is a whole thing, right? But
income disclosure statement, guys, income disclosure.
Right? But it's a whole thing. Like, if you remember, like, sorry, I'm a Washingtonian, but I'll throw out the Seahawks here. When the Seahawks won the Super Bowl in 2013, they interviewed Russell Wilson, and he said that earlier in that season, he said, why not me? Why not us? So why not you? Why not you? Seriously, ask yourself that. Why not you? Because there's room for absolutely everybody at the top. We have a seat saved for you. Just got to do the work. You just got to stay consistent. You just got to not take a break for the next 3 weeks.
Or 3 months or 3 years.
Or 3 months or whatever, you know. Yeah. But for real.
Why not you? That's a good note to end on.
Yeah.
Why not you?
Yeah.
But nobody can do it for you.
Nope.
You have to show up.
You can hire a personal trainer, but if you don't get your ass out of bed, they ain't gonna do nothing for you.
They ain't gonna do anything. So
right.
All right.
Okay.
The spotlight.
Thanks for having me, guys.